All right, go ahead and put on your art director hats, everybody, because today we're tearing into the absolute bleeding edge of AI motion graphics. We're going to analyze the latest testing data, the exact software, the prompts, the whole shebang. Basically everything that is fundamentally rewiring how visual content gets made right now. If you've been watching this insane rapid evolution of generative AI and wondering, when is this actually going to be practical for my day-to-day workflow? Well, you are exactly in the right place. We're going to break down the current models and build up a hybrid tech stack that you can literally start using today. Okay, let's dive into this, because this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's the exact thing every single video editor, motion designer, and content creator has been racking their brains over for the past year. We all know those incredibly slick, dynamic Vox-style explainer graphics, right? They're basically the gold standard for communicating complex stuff clearly. But can an AI actually generate them? Like with enough consistency, text accuracy, and actual style control to be genuinely usable in a real-world professional setting? I'll just cut right to the chase to satisfy your curiosity. Based on the current data, we are about 80 to 90% of the way there. And let me tell you, in the world of high-end production, that is a massive, massive leap forward. Now, I want to be totally straight with you. If you're pixel peeping, pausing the frame, zooming in, looking for tiny mistakes, yeah, you're definitely still going to find flaws. You'll catch the occasional morphed letter or some weird glitchy background artifact, but if we lean on the 80-20 rule here, this tech is absolutely at a stage where it's usable. If you know how to hide the minor mistakes and retry your generation smartly, the results are frankly kind of mind-blowing. So moving into section 1, the state of AI motion, let's look at exactly where this tech stands today without any of the fluff.
I mean, think back just 8 short months ago. Text-to-video for motion graphics was, to put it mildly, a total mess. If you tried using models like VO3 or Clink 2.6 back then, they just couldn't render consistent motion, let alone readable text. It was basically a melting, chaotic hallucination. Then, earlier this year, a tool called Remotion started getting incredible hype for doing highly accurate code-based data animations. But today the game has changed completely again. Google's Gemini Omni Flash has made these massive breakthroughs specifically in its ability to actually understand reference images and render real, readable typography without, turning your letters into weird alien symbols.
To really put this to the test and see how far we've come, all of the findings we're exploring were run against a super complex Vox-style test script. We aren't talking about a simple bouncing ball here. The source script tackled a really deep economic narrative, stuff involving NVIDIA, OpenAI, Microsoft, the White House, and this theoretical $1.2 trillion gap in the AI market. Now, just to be clear, our focus here is strictly neutral regarding the actual subject matter. What we really care about is the software's ability to take this dense, multi-layered story, which is full of logos, specific people, complex financial concepts, and actually render it into a visually cohesive explainer. Which brings us to section 2, mastering the Omni Workflow. I'm going to walk you through the exact 3-step system to make this work. And this brilliantly illustrates the methodology you need to harness this capability. The secret to AI motion graphic consistency really boils down to this strict 3-step system. Step 1, and this is absolutely crucial, you generate a character sheet or a style reference sheet. So let's say you want a blueprint style or claymation or a flat vector style. You generate it and you lock that style in. The core structure of your prompt is now locked. Step 2, you isolate just the action block of your prompt. You only change the specific action you want for that one individual clip. Then step 3, you generate the video straight from that locked reference. By using this system, you get incredible visual consistency clip after clip because the AI is just constantly looking back at your foundational style sheet.
But listen, you absolutely have to play by the model's rules. So here are the practical rules of thumb for Omni. First off, it's super versatile across styles. Whether you want a paper cutout look, architectural blueprints, 3D clay, it totally understands the assignment. However, and consider this a massive warning, you must use big, blocky fonts. It is great at large typography. But where it completely falls apart and turns into a modern art nightmare is with microfonts or tiny, fine details. Just don't do it. Finally, keep your camera movements simple. The less fancy the camera physics you ask for, the less the AI is going to struggle to keep the frames coherent.
Now here's a fascinating and honestly slightly frustrating quirk about Gemini Omni, but it is solvable. It actively blocks the generation of known faces. So if your explainer script mentions Elon Musk or Sam Altman, Omni is just going to flat out refuse to generate the clip. But the workaround? It's actually a brilliant little hack. You just hop over to ChatGPT, have it generate an image of the person, slap some stylized black bars over their eyes, and then bring that image back into Omni as an image-to-video prompt. Not only does this bypass the safety filter completely, but it actually gives the explainer this really cool redacted editorial vibe.
All right, let's get into section 3, Omni versus the competition, because this is where things get really interesting.
Now, what's really interesting about this matrix is how clearly it defines the current hierarchy of AI video models based on recent testing. Clink 3.0, it's fundamentally crippled for this specific workflow because it doesn't have a true reference mode. It only uses a start frame. That means by the end of a short clip, your carefully crafted style has completely morphed into chaos. Happy Horse? The typography is essentially unusable. Cense 2 is decent, but numbers and text still come out pretty garbled. But Gemini Omni Flash absolutely crushes the competition here. Excellent typography, the most fluid animation, and most importantly, it actually respects that continuous reference mode we were just talking about.
Now, I will concede 1 point to Cense 2 based on the source findings. If your goal is purely cinematic, photorealistic images, Cense 2 probably still holds the crown. But for our purposes, for actual motion graphics, video-to-video physics, and ensuring text stays solid while moving through a 3D digital space, the researchers put it perfectly. When it comes to video-to-video physics and understanding text, Omni Flash is actually beating Cense 2. It's unequivocally the reigning champ for this exact task. Plus, as a massive bonus for anyone scaling up production, it happens to be the cheapest of the top-tier models to run right now.
Pivoting a bit, let's look at Section 4, When to Use Remotion. Diving into the battle of code versus prompts.
Let's move tentuous and see how this builds a bigger picture. Because we can't talk about AI motion graphics without addressing the other side of the coin. Generative AI is just one way to do things. Sometimes hallucinating pixels is the exact opposite of what you need. We've got this fundamental juxtaposition here. Prompt-based generation, like Omni Flash on one side, and code-based generation with Remotion on the other. Prompt-based is messy, it's highly creative, fast, and perfect for dynamic stylistic shots. But Remotion doesn't guess what a chart looks like, it calculates it. It's built from the ground up for absolute mathematical accuracy, massive scaling, and programmatic generation.
Seriously, if you're building an explainer that relies on heavy data, Remotion is your superpower. You literally cannot ask a prompt-based AI to perfectly represent, say, a 12.4% spike in a bar chart for February. It just won't be accurate. Remotion, on the other hand, lets you fine-tune those exact data points flawlessly through code. And think about this. Imagine you need to render 1,000 personalized videos, each one featuring a different client's name and their unique data metrics. Omni can't do that efficiently. But Remotion? It can do it programmatically, perfectly, and for practically zero cost at scale.
So that leads us perfectly into Section 5, the ultimate hybrid workflow, getting the absolute best of both worlds.
So, the crucial point is, we have the creative fluidity of generative AI on one hand, and the rigid mathematical perfection of code on the other. Where does that leave us? Well, the ultimate winner isn't just one magic piece of software, it's a hybrid tech stack. You take the sections of your script that need hard numbers, complex charts, and flawless data accuracy, and you build those in Remotion. Then, for the sections that need speed, visual flair, and that broad conceptual styling, you generate those using Gemini Omni Flash. And finally, and this is key, you don't just export and publish. You bring all those assets together into a traditional compositor, like After Effects, to mask the minor AI flaws, dial in the timing, and give it that final, human-driven polish.
We're honestly no longer waiting for the future of motion graphics. It's sitting right on our desktops today, ready to go if you follow this workflow data. You've got the structural precision of code, the insane generative speed of AI, and the creative control of traditional compositing right at your fingertips. So the question really isn't, is this technology usable anymore? The real question is, how will you combine these tools to build your next explainer? Thank you so much for diving into this data with me today. Keep experimenting, keep creating, and I'll catch you in the next one.